Hello everybody! Welcome back once again to the Divinity walkthrough. Alright, so what are we doing here in the inn again? What are we doing? Guess we're gonna find out. Alright, heading upstairs. It might finally be time for me to buy Walk-in Shadows, which may have
Greetings.
may have ended up being
you are
a
most welcome in my chamber. Customers
pointless.
rarely find me up here, but I do so abhor the hustle and bustle of the marketplace.
Okay. So she's trying to avoid the hustle and bustle of the marketplace, I guess. Now, I ended up buying Walk-in Shadows here, but I ended up just getting lucky and getting it somewhere else in town. So I wouldn't count on that happening if you want Walk-in Shadows, and so if you don't already have it, because obviously I could have started out with that at the beginning of the game if I would have chosen to, but and I actually kind of realized that I picked a different spell than what I normally did. At the very beginning of the game, I picked Haste. I think that's right. Or it's Hasten, I think, is the actual name. But normally I take Adrenaline. And Adrenaline is good for, like, if you want to do a ton of damage in one turn. It's the only drawback is if you don't end the battle the following turn, you get a huge reduction in your AP. So it's kind of like, I don't know, I like it, actually. I still think it's a really good skill. And I think it is worthwhile, just because, again, it's you can dish out a ton of damage all in one turn and, you know, hopefully wipe out, you know, an enemy or something like that, which makes the reduction in AP for the next turn, I feel, worth it. So I guess keep that in mind. Oh, here's a pair of boots with Lucky Charm. Okay, and that was, yep, decided to buy those. Okay, so I think I'm going to equip those on my main character here just because she's the one that I run around with and, you know, I guess open up all of the, you know, drawers and boxes and all that stuff. So I think it's best to keep all of your Lucky Charm stat. So it's a great stat, just period. It increases your offense rating. So it's just always good, but I find it extremely useful on the main character. Again, because of the randomly getting extra items when I search for stuff. So that is where I'm going to be focusing my Lucky Charm type equipment on for the time being. Obviously, that's going to change throughout the game. We'll just be, you know, probably tossing it on anyone I can get my hands on it.
One for the collection.
All right, so if you notice here, I'm basically just stealing everything I can get my hands on, and there, if you notice too, it was really quick. I didn't stay on it, or I didn't highlight it for very long, but right now, because my dexterity is so low, I only have a 70% chance of setting the Walk-in Shadows status. So oftentimes you'll see, and it'll happen plenty. You'll be able to see it firsthand eventually here, but it just won't be active. Oh, and it went that time too. Okay, so we're good. So again, 70% of the time it's going to succeed, and 30% it just won't. But I will find some gear that has dexterity on it, and for every 1 point of dexterity, it's going to increase that success rate by 10%. So yeah. So if I can get 3 more dexterity for my character, that will always it'll always be successful. So it'll be right up to 100%. And I will get there eventually. But, all right, so it looks like what am I at here? 79 with this guy, 81. We're getting close to that 85 mark. So I'm going to donate some more stuff to him. Oh, and there it is. There's 85. Okay, so now I can start selling instead to this. Oh, this is the waitress. Okay. And the waitress, I generally just sell all of my, I would almost call it my garbage, like paintings and stuff like that, where I don't expect that I'm going to need them back, or possibly need the item back. There's other vendors where, like, for instance, like, there's a lot of the, like, cooking stuff, like apples, tomatoes, flour, bread, that kind of thing. Normally I'll try to stick those on either the cheese vendor out in the middle of the square, or who else? The fish vendor sometimes. And then actually there's a vegetable vendor out there too. So I try to keep actually I try to sell all of my like fish that I get down from the docks area to that vendor, and then, you know, kind of like my garbage to the waitress, like food type items, you know, again to the either the cheese vendor or the vegetable vendor. Here, this is downstairs in the inn. I don't know why I took a cut there, but you didn't actually get to see me walk over to the hatch and then go downstairs. So my bad if that seems a little confusing, but that's where I'm at. I'm down below the hatch. Whoops, took one step too far with Medora there. So let's get a healing spell going on her. This room is a little annoying, I will admit. And I think I just ended up walking in there and disarming the trap because something happened here with the barrel that I put on top of it. I think there's actually 2 traps in that room, and then one triggers some fireball or something like that, and it ended up destroying the barrel. So, you know, it ended up, I guess, just not working out the way I wanted it to, unfortunately. So, and here I'm trying to move this water barrel, but I don't think Medora's got enough strength right now to move water barrels. Eventually, later on in the game, and it's kind of neat, you can pick up. I don't know why I did that. Why did I put that in her hand? Okay. Anyways, you can pick up like oil barrels or water barrels if you want, and then like throw them around, you know, if you want to. Otherwise, you can just use things like the geomancy skill there with. Oh, I keep forgetting what the name of it is. But there's a geomancy skill that creates an oil slick. And then obviously you've always got or one of my characters has the rain spell right now. I believe Jahan has that skill as well. So he's another really good character, I would say, to have if you, especially if it's like your first time playing the game. I would almost recommend like Jahan and Medora, or, you know, Jahan and like Bear Daughter. I think that's her name. Or like the rogue guy, just because they've got a little more personality than the ones that you can hire at the Hall of Heroes. So, again, that's my 2 cents on like the extra characters. But for the time being, I do not have, obviously, Jahan. I'm still considering whether or not I'm going to stick with Medora or not. I'm kind of leaning towards keeping her. I really like her. That having that comeback kid is actually really awesome. Okay, so for right now, ooh, maybe I did do this right. I guess we're gonna find out. Okay, so I moved the barrel from wherever that was in the middle of the room onto the trap. Actually, I think it does blow up here. I don't know if there's something on the ground. Oh, click. Yep. Boom. Okay. And now there you have the poison back. So, excuse me. I think what I just ended up doing here was trying to spot the trap, and then I disarmed it. I just walked into the poison and disarmed it. So, okay. Yep, there we go. And then hit the X and then go to disarm. Obviously, my character's going to take some damage here. But let's just... Yeah, I must be stepping on there must be a switch there that triggers the... whatever those fireballs are from above, which is ridiculous. Why is there such elaborate traps at the bottom of this inn? I don't know. Really weird. Anyways, all right, so let's explore.
Into the fray once more.
And down here, you don't have to worry about sneaking. There isn't anyone around, and there aren't any NPCs that path down into here, so you don't have to worry about stealing stuff and getting caught. What did I get there? Oh, some sort of shield. But that was I don't know if you noticed there. I got the Lucky Charm triggered, so I got something extra. And then there was a key. I don't know if that's to this box or not.
Might need
Nope,
to blow
not that
this one
Okay.
open.
No, and I don't think I have. I either don't have any lockpicks on me, or my lockpick skill isn't high enough. Okay, so let's grab.
I guess
well,
someone else got here
garbage.
first.
Some more junk. well, junk for me. If you're building arrows or using grenades, so that's another thing. If you notice, there's a lot of parts to like grenades and stuff in this game, or just like throwable things. I don't really mess around with them really at all, but they can be useful, I guess. There is a trait that also helps them out. So the problem is if you don't have the trait, they're really inaccurate. So you'll throw one of your bombs and it won't land anywhere near where you wanted it to. So that can get a little frustrating. But if you have the trait, it'll always or your grenade will always be thrown where you try to. So if that's something that you're interested in, go right ahead. They are pretty good, and there are a lot of pretty decent, like, bombs, I guess you'd call them, in the game.
Another one for the collection.
And then, like I said, I believe you can create your own as well. I don't remember. I've never actually crafted any myself, so maybe I'll do that a little bit later. I'll take a look into some of that just so you guys can get a good idea of how to do that. But all right, so what do we have here? Some more bread, some cooking stuff. I think I'm still looking for a key. Hopefully, anyway. I think I got the. All right, I think I explored everything and got all the treasure chests open down here. I guess we're gonna find out. Bunch of ham, which I hate. Actually, I don't hate ham. I just don't like it that much. Oh, there we go. Okay, so I did pick up a key somewhere for this. And what did I get there? A ring, I think, and then I don't know what the other stuff was. I didn't catch that. But all right, so we looted everything. So that's the King Crab Inn basement, I guess you could call it. I haven't fully explored the upstairs yet. And it doesn't look like I'm going to do that
I sense a sorcerer in yonder shadows.
yet.
I'll figure out who murdered Jake before the day's through. Just you wait.
Detective Kip is on the case. Okay, Detective Kip. I don't know, it just looks like you're running around like a chicken with its head cut off. Oh. Okay, gonna have a little chat with Unsinkable Sam.
Crab before. You're welcome to scratch me behind the ears if you like. I won't scratch back. I am Unsinkable Sam. At least that's what they call me around here. Used to be a ship's cat, but the clipper I was on sank when I was the only one to wrestle himself free from the waves. The people here were kind and took me in, being the King Crab's foremost patron ever since. A magnificent ship she was. Used to belong to a pirate, I was told. Unlike me, she didn't prove to be unsinkable, though. We hit the cliffs right neath the lighthouse. Not very apt a name for that building, I must say, for no light was shining from it. The moment I hit the water, I writhed around like I would on a hot tin roof. By some miracle, I managed to reach the beach, covered in kelp and smelling worse than a fish's funeral parlor. But I was alive, and that was more than anybody else could say. So I was. What friends I had. They drowned alongside the rats I used to hunt in the galley. And there I was, all alone. Not that I have it bad here, mind you. I've milk and fish aplenty. Most folks will pet me kindly, and when one of the village girls holds me tight against her ample bosom, I purr up a storm. But I do long for a companion of my own kind, and in that regard, there is no one like Maxine. Maxine, the mayor's darling pet. So gentle, so fair a feline. The grace of her whiskers, the subtle palette of dyes in her sable coat. She's one of a kind, that cat. She likes me. I know she does. But when I declare my love, she backs away. I don't know why. I have serenaded her and braved many a bucket of water for my efforts. But for some reason, she is not to be swayed. By all means. People make a fuss about them because they endanger the lands around the city. They never bother me when I'm out for my monthly walk, though. But still, I do detest them. I mean, they're so unnatural, aren't they? Cats can have 9 lives, but humans are only entitled to 1. Oh, don't mention orcs to me. Worse than dogs, that lot. Sank Walrus Willie's boat right from under him. Best anchovy fisher in the world he was. A loss to us all.
That purring sound. Mind control vibrations, I'm sure.
Oh my
Don't
God.
Be seduced, comrades.
So this is what I'm saying. So a bunch of the characters have really good lines in this. What is it? The Medora is alluding to the cats purring as mind control. Pretty ridiculous. And then here, okay, so I found I must have found the key for the chest up here too. So that's the.
Not much rhymes with murder.
That is the letter from the Duke of Ferrell to Esmeralda.
But that doesn't solve the mystery. I think it would be wise to inspect the
Which is
Countess's
ridiculous.
case
If you
and
read
see
it,
what
it's like the
clues
worst.
we can
It really
find.
is the worst poetry ever. If you can even call it poetry. Your lips are as red as emeralds? Okay. Your hair is as black as birch? What? Although your love is like cholesterol, and oh my heart, it hurts. Oh man, okay. Okay. Alright, so that's the Duke, and I think I'm gonna have a little chat with him here. He doesn't really have anything useful to say, to be completely honest.
Ah, hello. I suppose you're here to viciously interrogate me for information I don't have, like our noble Captain Aureus before you. I am the Duke of Ferrell, though I suppose my name is in the mouths of enough ruthless gossipers that you've heard of me by now. It's very tragic news. I won't posture and say that the Consular and I were anything near allies, but I truly never wished the man harm. Which one? I've written, Esmeralda, more works of lyrical mastery than I can count. All that letter proves is my devotion to my lady, not any actual intention to do away with Jake. Ah, hello. I suppose you're here to viciously interrogate...
Alright, so there I think I confronted the Duke there about the letter, and he's like, what do you mean, which letter? Like, I wrote to her all the time. So, that's kind of one of the aspects about the whole murder that I think maybe offers a little bit of a clue, is just that Esmeralda and the Duke weren't, they didn't really try to hide anything. They kind of, I think pretty much the town knew, and they really didn't deny that. And I don't know exactly the details. It's probably not important, but I think being, I would almost say, open about it and not denying, like especially now when we're kind of here in town to investigate, the fact that they're not denying any, relationship of any form gives them a little credibility, I would almost say. So I guess that being said, we'll be obviously investigating a bit more. This is Esmeralda. Whoops, I went back upstairs on accident. This is Esmeralda's basement, I guess. And so here we're going to find at least one more clue, I guess, if I remember correctly. Here scattered among all of the garbage and ham. Apparently Esmeralda loves ham.
Ah, so that's
I think
what
one of
that
the
did.
rats will comment on that too. Which, by the way, again, and I mentioned this, I think at the very beginning video, is that you have to have the pet pal ability or trait, I should say, in order to speak with pets. And I don't think that secondary
seems
characters, so
tighter than
like
the treasury.
Medora or whoever this chick is, Chislina or something like that. I don't think that those secondary characters can get pet pal. I think it has to be one of the two main characters, and you don't have to take it right away necessarily. So if you made your character and you didn't take it with one of them, don't worry. If you do want to take that later, you can. It's not specifically when you first create the character. So I guess I don't know if that's maybe is or isn't important to people, but sometimes the animals will have unique things to say, as well as quests. So If you don't ever take Pet Pal, well, there's going to be a couple of quests that you miss out on. You know, that's okay, I guess, and there's a needle in a haystack. Very clever. So yeah, again, if you want to get all of the quests done in the game, you are going to need Pet Pal, because, like I said, there are a few animals in the game that will have quests for you. Maxine and Unsinkable Sam are perfect examples of those quests. Okay, so what are we doing in here?
Esmeralda's a funny character. She's always got ham on the brain. I've never been inside her secret room, but I bet it's full of hams
yeah,
too.
okay. So there's this rat here. Kind of gives us a hint that there's a button somewhere. I think I already hit it.
Jake? Did he finally run off with that white-haired woman? What was her name? Candace?
Okay, so a white-haired woman named Candace. I'm not sure who they're talking about right now, but that's interesting. Candace. Okay. If I grabbed everything yet? I think so. Oh, no, it's some books. Okay, no, nothing there. Okay, here's the secret storage room. And I'm going to grab these cups and plates. These ones are worth a lot of money. So definitely, if you are going to come down here, you know, if you want to skip some of the treasure hunting, go ahead, be my guest. But grab the plates and the cups. They're obviously worth quite a bit of money. So we will. I'll probably end up donating them to Esmeralda now that I think about it. I need to get my, I don't know, I guess standing with her up a bit. Okay, that's all empty. And what do we have here? Okay, here. So this bloody dagger is a plot item, I guess. There you go. So that updated our log.
Could this have been involved in the crime? It certainly piques one's interest, doesn't it?
And then, what is this? Is this a zombie? Yeah, zombie painting. I don't know what that's for. And then there's the book. Okay, so I ended up finding Walk in Shadows right there. So it's unfortunate that I bought the Walk in Shadows book from the merchant, but that's okay. I don't know. Maybe I'll end up giving Walk in Shadows to somebody else. I'm not sure yet, but it's just a little unfortunate that I bought that, you know, literally, what, 5 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago? So, but them's the breaks, and that Walk in Shadows book won't always be there. So, like, if you're playing, you may end up getting it, or it may be something completely different. Because again, my impression is that those books are randomly generated. So, you know, that's just the breaks, or them's the breaks.
I bet you're a real war. The hunter returns.
Okay.
I hope you
So
are
let's
here
have a
to
chat with
shop
Esmeralda
rather
again.
than sleuth. Listen, if you're going to accuse me of something, you would better find the evidence to back up your ridiculous claims. Perhaps it is you who should explain your presence in my cellar. And the dagger? It's simply a butcher knife used by my late husband to cut meat. He did so love to cook, the dear. What'll you think of next? Accusing me of bashing him over the head with a frying pan? Oh, that horrid tome of ill repute. It isn't mine, it was Jake's. He was a politician, don't you see? Always on the lookout for plotting rivals. Always trying to be one step ahead. Really, I should have thought a source hunter of all people would appreciate my dear husband's sense for survival. Oh, don't put stock in the hastily scribbled words of a lovelorn fool. This letter, it was a show of passion. A poorly worded passion I did not echo in the least. The Duke, he's like a spoiled child. He's not a man. He's not like Septimus. But all of it is circumstantial. I've a perfectly logical explanation for every piece of so-called evidence against me, and yet you've been trailing me like a bloodhound. People seem to want to believe I am guilty, so let me tell you something I've been keeping to myself. Perhaps it may yet lead to the true culprit. Over the last few months, Jake grew distant. Distant and dark somehow. Something in him changed. I can't quite put my finger on it, but he was no longer the gentleman he used to be. In fact, he scared me. It all began the day he met Evelyn, Master Theliron's apprentice. She healed him of what we all believed to be a fatal wound he suffered hunting boars. I think he became obsessed by her, or obsessed by the secrets I just know she holds. Talk to this woman. There is more to her than meets the eye. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if she belongs to that sect. You know, to those who worship a goddess without name and practice rituals of blood. I never liked her from the moment I met her. Men cannot see past her beauty, but I have gazed her in the eye and it was death that leered back at me. She hails from Silverglen, a village in the forest north of Sicil. How she made it past the undead without a Legion escort, I'll never know. Though I can hazard an eerie guess. If anyone killed my Jake, it must be her. She had her claws in him for many long months, and finally she must have cut too deeply.
Okay, so I would say Esmeralda does a pretty good job there of explaining the, I think it's 3 items that we found. It was the bloody dagger, the book about murder, I guess. Was it called The Perfect Murder or something like that? And then the letter from the Duke. So, again, you know, she says, you know, Jake liked to cook. That's why he had the dagger. And then, you know, it's, I would almost say obvious downstairs. They I don't know if they just butcher pigs in their basement. I don't know. It seems weird, but okay. And then, you know, the book was, hey, you know, Jake was a politician and he had enemies and he wanted to know what to look for. So, okay, that makes sense too. And then the letter. Again, the Duke as well as Esmeralda don't deny any sort of involvement. So,
Were that I had been
yeah.
there to partake in the battle. But my duties lie here. Sworn as I am to protect Lady Esmeralda from the rabble that would enforce summary justice on her. Even though she is, until proven guilty, wholly innocent. I am Septimus, 7th son in a household of 9, legionnaires all. Me and 2 brothers of mine were assigned to Sicile from day 1. Alas, both of them have long since fallen in battle against the dead. But never shall I lose heart. Long as a single legionnaire stands, all of us remain undefeated in the eyes of the gods. So fair a lady I have seldom seen in all of Rivellon, my friend. And I have traveled more extensively than migratory birds do. She stands accused of murder, but in my mind, her presumed guilt is a fallacy, and indeed a fabrication. Steadfast will I guard her. Never will I waver unless absolute proof of her culpability should be brought before me. And I hold no such proof exists. Jake's murder is, in a word, a tragedy. He was well loved in all of Sicile. The Council of 7 couldn't have wished for a better ambassador. That he of all people should have braved the undead siege for so long, only to be felled by foul sorcery, is heartrending. You claim to possess evidence that implicates Lady Esmeralda in the murder of her husband? Well, let's have it then. Used for cookery, was it? Well, that settles it. A perfectly innocent explanation for a perfectly innocent activity. Dearest Esmeralda, I never doubted her. So it was Jake's? Of course. He read it so as to outfox lurking assassins. Alas that it failed him. Alas that it is now used to slander his grieving widow. There now, she was stringing Ferrol along. Ha! A pampered brat, that Duke, just like she says. Barks worse than his bite, no doubt. He'll be gone from here the instant he can, but I'll still be here, steadfast and by Milady's side.
Okay, so that's Septimus. Not a whole lot. I don't know what to really think about Septimus. You know, I wouldn't really say that he's a naive. It seems like he knows exactly what's going on in town and, you know, realizes you know, he seems to be a bit wise to the different rumors in town and whatnot. The only thing I would say, though, that seems really bad is when Esmeralda, if you're not talking and you're just in the store, she brings up, you know, she says something to Septimus like, hey, what would happen if, you know, you fell in the line of duty? Kind of like, where would the money go? So, I don't know. That seems really bad, or sounds really bad, like gold digger-ish, but, you know, whatever. It is what it is. But anyways, I'm out of time, so as always, hope this guide was helpful, and hope you join me for more videos. Thanks for watching.